Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name's Stephanie and today I'm so excited to be back with another installment of my curated collections. This time I'm sharing some of my favorite polishes inspired by spring flowers. I know we are a little late into the spring season, at least for me personally. I feel like summer is just right around the corner, but I feel like I had to share this video in May because I shared my April showers video last month. So May flowers, spring flowers, you get the idea. So let me just show you my picks. The first polish I have is Holo Taco's Butter Me Up, which is a pale butter yellow. So I'm starting with my soft yellows, mainly to represent daffodils, which can symbolize things like renewal and hope. Daffodils typically bloom earlier in the spring season, so it's an apt reminder that life will flourish again after a cold winter. You guys know that I love pastel yellows, and I feel like this one is just so perfect and delicate to match daffodil petals. The other yellow that I chose is Ave Sunshine, which is a pastel sunshine yellow. Aside from daffodils, I think this kind of yellow shade can also represent flowers like petunias or primrose, which also usually bloom in late winter to early spring. Or we can just take the polish for what it is, because sunshine on its own is also very fitting since it's needed to make the flowers bloom in the first place. Next I have Zoya Adel, which is a milky white, crelly kind of shade. I love milky white shades like this because I feel like they just translate the delicate softness of petals better than a cream. Even though the majority of my lineup does consist of cream polishes, I still wanted to highlight this one, and I went with white specifically to represent daisies. Daisies definitely can come in other colors, but I don't know, there's just something so innocent and nostalgic about the white ones for me. They actually do symbolize innocence and purity, so maybe that's why I have that connection. Now getting into some purples, the first one I have is Ave Lilac to represent lilacs. I personally think lilacs as being a little bit more pink leaning, and this is what I would call a more true periwinkle color, but either way, it's just such a perfect shade for spring. Lilacs are often mentioned in Greek mythology, and they're known to symbolize youthfulness and first love. I also feel like this is a great color match for wisteria, which I really love, and I think both of those flowers do fit with that kind of flirty, romantic vibe. The next shade I have is Ave's Cactus Flower, and while it has a great name for the theme, I actually chose this one since I thought the color would be a really nice pick for Lily of the Nile or African lilies. They usually have this really beautiful blurple kind of color, obviously some leaning more purple or more blue. I think Cactus Flower is a little bit darker and maybe more muted compared to the actual flowers, but it's still a lovely pick. Next I have Holo Taco's Resting Witch Face, which is a bold purple shade that I chose to represent iris flowers. Like other flowers, irises can come in some different colors, but I especially love them in their bold purple hues, which usually symbolize things like wisdom, spirituality, and faith. Irises are also early bloomers, and fun fact, purple irises specifically are the state flower for Tennessee. Continuing on with some bolder colors, I have Morgan Taylor's Got Carried Away, which I chose to color match Cosmos. I love Cosmos so much since they just make me think of wildflower fields, and I especially love the vibrant shades of pink they come in. Cosmos mainly symbolize harmony due to their perfectly spaced petals, along with other traits like peace and love. They're native to Mexico and have a history of being used for healing properties too, and they're also the birth flower for the month of October, which obviously makes it one of my favorites. Next up I have OPI's Madam President, which is a deep, rich magenta pink. I chose this one to match verbenas, which are so cute and tiny, but they can come in these really vibrant pops of color. Verbena apparently comes from the Latin word meaning sacred bow, which probably explains why these flowers are so often used for healing or as spiritual offers in many different cultures. But it can also represent things like protection, positivity, and good fortune. These tend to bloom in mid-spring when the temperature starts to warm up. I always feel a little bad about sharing this next shade since it's not readily available, but I can't help but feature KBShimmer's Rose Were the Days. This was from a previous polish pickup, and it's a beautifully saturated hot pink with a golden copper shimmer and hollow flakies. Granted, it's a lot more flashy than roses are, but I feel like the hollow flakes in this really remind me of water droplets on rose petals. It's just so dreamy and romantic. The last two shades that I have aren't inspired by specific flowers necessarily, but just the general vibes. So the first one that I have is ILNP's Petals from the Wildflowers collection. I feel like I don't even need to explain myself any more than that, but yeah, it's just an absolutely gorgeous color that's so shimmery and glowy. And lastly, I have Sylvanclaw's Field of Wonder, which is a lush, verdant jelly packed with green shimmers, pink and gold metallic flakes, and a pink reflective glitter. I feel like this just perfectly captures those magical wildflower fields so well, or at least it does in the bottle. Like I mentioned in my original review, I unfortunately don't think this translates as well on the nail, where you see more of those flakies that look like flower petals, but you do get some pops of color along with the reflective glitters, which remind me of those tiny little wildflowers that pop up. I don't normally love these shades of green, but again, I feel like this just does such a great job of capturing the inspiration in a bottle. So that wraps up my curated collection inspired by spring flowers. As always, I would love to know what you think of my choices. I obviously kind of went with like a very specific color palette, but I still really love these picks and I love the flowers they were inspired by. I feel like this is also a really nice balance between a couple of soft, typical spring shades with some brighter pops of color, which make me so excited for the warmer weather. Now, I know the majority of these being creams might not be like super exciting, but I was thinking of maybe doing a little nail art series where I use these polishes to paint the flowers that they're inspired by. So if you are interested in that, look out for a poll that I'll be posting on my post tab so you can let me know which flower I should try and paint. But either way, I hope you let me know any and all thoughts that you have down below so we can chat about it. But thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!